In our 25th year of covering the shooting sports, you might think there's no competition left that we haven't shown you at least once. But today is a first. The first time we've covered a 1,000-yard bench rest championship. There are some surprises in this sport, that there are two ways to score for record, and some of the guns will really surprise you. What probably won't be a surprise is that the appeal of the sport is achieving precision.
Bench 1, Michael Huff. Bench 2, Jason Borsma.
It's the International Bench Rest Shooters International Championships, Whitehorse Range, West Virginia. Relay 1 takes the firing line. It's competition for light guns, less than 17 pounds. Heavy guns shoot later. And the leader of Team Hornady is literally setting his sights on perfection. X marks the spot 1,000 yards away.
I'm nervous. First relay you ever shoot. I mean, every time I get nervous as crazy. I mean, I can't help it, but it's fun.
No wonder John's nervous. A car driving the speed limit on an interstate highway would take half a minute to reach that target. There's a little perspective. So bench rest shooters spend a lot of time building their shooting positions, settling the rest, making it solid, adjusting the track of the rifle.
Just trying to get centered up on my target and make sure every time I shove it back it's hitting the same spot with the crosshairs. It's what we call making it track right.
The better the build, the more accurate the shot. One more path to precision.
A small movement here at the bench is a big difference at 1,000 yards. So anytime you move, you wiggle, you shoulder it, you lean on it, you grip it wrong, it changes it downrange. Plus you have all the wind and everything else.
Each relay begins with a 6-minute period for shooters to zero in their optics. They shoot, watch the wind, make minute adjustments, watch the wind some more.
I'm going to play the curve there. The wind's blowing this way and this way. I'm going to play the curve in here.
If you look down there, you can see them flags that are straddling the road. They're blowing to the right. The ones further down by the targets are blowing to the left. The wind's coming through there and
It's whipping around.
30 seconds, 30 seconds.
As the clock ticks down on the sighter period, most shooters take a final shot to confirm they're on the mark.
Ceasefire, ceasefire.
My sighters are good. You know, I'm hitting. I just had to come down a little bit because I was a little high.
Then the competition begins. 5 shots for record in 10 minutes. But most shooters get their lead downrange as quickly as they can, firing all 5 shots in quick succession before the wind changes and throws off their aim.
it's a little breezier down there than you think.
Yeah.
I hope it went good, but we'll see. I don't know. Hope for the best.
I found the flag that was telling me the truth for my target or whatever, and when they said commence fire, it stayed where it was at, so you send them.
Good.
After the relay, light gun shooters head straight to weigh-in to prove their rifles meet that 17-pound maximum.
Good.
At the same time, the competitors' targets race 0.6 of a mile back to the line, where scorers measure 2 things down to the 1,000th of an inch. One, of course, is highest score. Did you hit the center of the target? The other is the tightest group. There's competition for both.
In bench rest, group supersedes score. So a small group here, they prefer a small group here rather than a bigger group here.
But both are good, and a tiny group will always draw attention.
What is wrong with her? She's like shooting like a crazy woman.
If a 2.1-inch group is crazy, Ruth wanted to aim a few clicks higher, but her husband talked her out of it.
Better win that 5 out of being right there.
Well, you can blame it on him.
And blame it on him. I'm happy.
As she should be, a personal best. Now it's time for the big rifles to come to the line. No weigh-in required in the heavy gun class.
Heavy gun, it's unlimited. If you can pack it to the line, you can shoot it. Rush probably weighs about 45 pounds.
And how much does this rifle weigh?
85.
The rules for heavy gun aren't much different than light rifle competition. 6 minutes for sighting, then 10 minutes for score. The heavier rifles are naturally more stable, but in heavy gun, competitors shoot 10 shots instead of only 5, giving the wind a greater chance to do bad things with your bullets. Still, JC just shot a fantastic target, a 99 with 5X and a group of 4.476.
Wow.
It does look good. I'm proud of it. I was this close to being centered up perfect.
Yeah.
And there was a wind change, had to have been to throw that one out.
The group is JC's personal record, but twice the size of Ruth's light gun target. In bench rest, that's just how the wind blows.
It's a win and lose game. There's nobody dominates. And when you shoot a good target, you're proud of it, but the next one may be 20 inches. There's no way to know.
No way to know. It's just you reading the wind and hoping to punch through to print a target to be proud of. So who are the people who find this challenge appealing? Coming next, you'll meet the team that lives with precision every day. Shooting USA is brought to you by Les Bear Customs 1911s, hand-fitted to perfection because you'll accept nothing less. And by Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable. If you get hooked by the challenge of bench rest, you'll quite likely build your own rifle. And you're definitely going to be loading your own cartridges. But you'll be buying precision bullets from some company. Unless you're a member of the Hornady team, in which case you'll make the bullets Monday through Friday that you'll shoot on the weekend. One great thing about working for a company in the shooting industry is getting to test drive the product. These exotic precision rifles are fueled by Hornady, the industry-leading ammunition manufacturer, and driven by Hornady factory workers who compete in international bench rest shooting at distances out to 1,000 yards. It's great to be part of the team.
Yes, it is. We got a great team back there in Grand Island, Nebraska, and we got a great team out here, representing at the IBS 1,000-yard match.
I run with some guys from work that we're really close friends. We have a good time with it. Hornady is so good to us that they want us to promote this deal and they want us to go out and mingle with these guys and shoot with them. I get to do the fun stuff, so yeah, it's great.
Shooting at 1,000 yards demands a very specific set of skills, not to mention a meticulous nature. Being off at the bench by 1 minute of angle means a miss at the target of at least a foot. Only one word defines this sport.
Precision.
Precision.
You have to be precise with what you're doing. We're designing these machines and stuff like that, and these guys run them. They got to be safe.
For Team Hornady, that precision focus begins long before they arrive at the range. It starts at work on the factory floor, where you find the shooters on the bench rest team applying their keen eye for detail to every bullet and cartridge. Justin is turning out 6.5 Creedmoor, bonding copper jackets and lead for the 140 grain hollow point match.
To be precise in the field, you got to be precise in the factory. That's what we do best here.
Trampus goes about his day job with similar attention to the fine points. Today he's making a precision bullet, the 140 grain ELD match, ELD for extra low drag. It's the actual bullet he and Team Hornady shoot in long-range competition. And Trappist quickly stops the press when he sees an imperfection. Putting the polish to this machine tool gets everything back on target.
Every once in a while you got to take stuff out, just clean it up, get it back into good shape, and then you're back to making better bullets.
Craig claims he's no perfectionist, but you wouldn't know it to see him at work, setting a tolerance on this machine to 1,000th of an inch. He says it isn't a perfect world, but each press he sets up better be. What he dials in on the factory floor impacts every customer in the field, he and his teammates included.
It all translates out to the 1,000-yard stuff. If you're off a little bit up on the bench, you're going to be off a long ways down there. If we're off a little bit here, when it goes in a bucket, it's not going to be right.
The shooting team captain is a hard man to catch as he moves from task to task, troubleshooting, solving problems, some before they occur. Now, John's running a quality check on a .223 caliber hollow point match, checking diameter, length, and weight, making sure the product is perfect.
Everything's about precision.
There's that word, precision.
Just everything you're doing that you're putting into that ammo translate into tighter groups, higher scores out at the range.
In the factory and on the range, there is simply no substitute for precision. It's critical at the reloading bench, too, and John is painstaking in the process, measuring every piece of brass with Hornady's headspace gauge, then bumping the shoulder so it's 2/1000ths shorter than the chamber of his rifle.
That's good. I'm shooting for 2/1000ths. That way I know every round's going to chamber fine.
John is just as precise with his powder, measuring the charge for every cartridge down to the 1/10 of a grain.
Now, my target charge weight's 72.5.
Not 0.4, not 0.6.
They all need to be exactly the same. They need to be 72.5.
Then comes concentricity, using the tool to straighten each round down to 1/4 of 1,000th of an inch.
I could win a match with those. I could almost guarantee you I could win a match with those. They are precise. They're very precise.
And that is Team Hornady's game.
You have to do everything right at the reloading bench, and you have to do everything right at the shooting bench. You got to almost be like a machine.
You can really see it. Bench rest is the perfect game for the guys who live with precision every day. And coming next, we're talking tech for bench rest. How about a 61-pound rifle with a 4-ounce trigger? Bench rest shooters will tell you they like to tweak things. It's part of that precision thing to try for those very tight groups at 1,000 yards. Whether it's building a rifle from scratch or just handling the cartridges before loading, every step is part of the precision game. Setting up a heavy gun for long-range competition is a team sport of sorts for some bench rest shooters. About what you'd expect from a rifle division with no limit on weight or imagination.
I made it.
You made it?
Yes.
How much does that weigh?
About 110 pounds.
Edwards' rifle has an aluminum chassis and a 2-inch stainless steel barrel with a .30 caliber bore. He wipes off every cartridge before shooting and gives each round a shake. You just can't be too precise.
I'm just wiping the tip off and shaking the powder. The powder gets packed in there when you drive 7 hours. So I just make them sure they're all the same.
Consistency at the bench means precision at the target. Few competitors own a handmade rifle, but that's not required to compete or win. But bench rest shooters do love to tweak. Customizing is part of the sport.
This is a Model 12 Savage bench rest rifle. You can buy it about anywhere. But we've tricked it out a little bit. We've had a new barrel put on this thing. This particular rifle is chambered in a 6.5 by 284, which happens to be a favorite of mine. I shoot the 147 ELD match bullets that we make at Hornaday.
Craig's also tweaked the bolt and chamber of his competition light gun. On the line, his action must run smoothly. His teammates are all about the tech, too.
This is a Shaheen Maxi tracker stock. This is the aluminum one. They also make a wood one. So this is all one piece aluminum here. Then you got a barrel block that comes with it. And that's what's actually clamping the barrel and action in there. The action's free floating. You could take a piece of paper and slide it underneath here.
John's bolt is made of stainless steel. The Remington 40X Action is too. The heavy gun weighs in at 61 pounds. A jeweled trigger touches the big gun off, and John has tweaked it a bit.
The trigger weight's like 4 ounces. It's a real light pull. It takes more than just a touch, but not much more.
Team Hornady is shooting the newest line of company match-grade bullets, the ELD, Extreme Low Drag. John's heavy gun is chambered in 30-375, a Ruger case neck down for a 30 caliber ELD bullet.
This is one right here. These are some that I hand-loaded down in my basement that, that I'm shooting at the matches here. I made some of the first ones of these out in production on the floor at the factory, and it's kind of fun to see how they shoot. It's just pretty cool to actually use what we're making.
A matter of pride in precision.
Shooting out here, I see a lot of what everybody else is shooting, and as far as me, we want Hornady Manufacturing to be making the best bullet out there.
High expectations in a high-stress sport, but bench rest shooters do have fun, Team Hornady included.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, we're one big family.
It's fun. It's a challenge. It's very challenging. It's good competition, good people to be around.
That's a lot to like in one shooting sport, but the very reason many folks come hundreds of miles to compete.
I just love long-range shooting. Just meeting all the good people here to shooting, and just an idea of just hitting the little target out there at 1,000 yards, shooting 1,000 yards. That's my passion. That's my love.
You're good, sir.
Good to go.
I can't shoot, but I do have a good time every time I go. And that's the most important thing, have a lot of fun.
Is that right?
That's right. Whether you shoot good or not.
But if you do shoot well, say a personal best, you're an instant shooting star. Like 13-year-old Amber.
It's a 2.760.
Get out of here.
Yep.
Woo-wee, that's good.
A 2.76-inch group. And at the championships, a performance and a shooting sport that both are hard to beat, especially when it's part of the job.
It's like I get to be an elf in Santa's workshop. I get to do the fun stuff, so yeah, it's great.
I'm extremely lucky. Not very many people can say that they love their job. Me, I love my job.
Thanks again for tuning into the Shooting USA YouTube channel. We hope you enjoyed the content. A couple of notes. Make sure you take advantage of SUSA15 at snapsafe.com. That's our discount code that saves you 15% on anything from SnapSafe, and that gets to be some big money when you start talking about modular safes and vault doors. Also, if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our new content. As always, a like and a comment helps us with that algorithm.